with your friends, okay? Just 1 hour. So this is our last lecture, all right? The semester is over. So next week is going to be a revision lecture, all right? When you come, I will give you some guidance. And maybe if I have chance to do some work, so I will prepare some videos so you can see those features during class test, okay? So, and another thing I would like to tell you and spread this message to everyone, okay? Next week's seminars, only those group students will be allowed. If it's EC1 students will be allowed to be in their group. Other group students will not be allowed. Because we will have mock exam, okay? I will prepare, so 1.5 hour exam. So you will have a chance to do those problem solving and those exam questions, okay? So it will be just mock exam is going to be good. At the end, I will give you some guides. I will show you, or I will show you the answers, how to solve those questions, okay? So it's good for you. So, again, other group students will not be allowed. Please come to your own. And please spread this message in your Telegram group. So this week is going to be, if you are not coming, it's no problem because it's mock exam. It's not that original exam, all right? If you don't come, you will miss it. This is it, no problem. But if you come, you will have a chance to see that because the format will be close to that mock exam.
Will it be on our seminar days?
In your seminar day, okay? Seminar, in your seminar. So which means I'm not going to provide you with those last year questions as I did in the first semester. So if you want to take a look, please come to seminar because I will not give you in your hands and your phones I will not allow to use. If you have calculators, bring it. You will do it. It will be like exam, okay? So do your best. We will see. All right. Last lecture. Lecture 10, State Capitalism. Today we will talk about types of economies, okay? Which countries implement or they try to follow. So let's start with an Afghan proverb, okay? Which in Uzbekistan we also have similar proverb, okay? 5 fingers are brothers but not equal, all right? When do we use in Uzbekistan? We all know, right? So when we see certain problems are happening, we say that because not all people are fairly good enough, these things happen, right? These things happen. So, therefore, if you consider all types of economies, whether it's planned economy, socialistic economy, mixed economy, or capitalistic economy, all of them are in theory, they are perfect economies, all right? Perfect economies. And they can be, the implementation is going to be very perfect if those 5 fingers are equal, which means that all people, they are very good contributors to the economy and they are following all the rules of and regulations of all types of economies. If it's the case, all types of economies are good. But because those 5 fingers are not equal, okay, there are various types of people, very good people, very smart people, very evil people, very corrupt people, okay? So therefore, each economies, they have different type of, process. But among the types of economies, there are certain which are, easier to implement and we are able to get the highest possible efficiency from the economy, okay? All right. Can you give me any example, or any country's example where all people are perfect? Canada? Norway?
Switzerland.
Okay. The answer is there isn't any country. Okay? There isn't any country. Go to Canada, you can find thousands of people in jail. Why they were in jail? Because now they are not good people. Okay? Good. Comparatively, maybe yes. Okay? Utopia, which means that you know the meaning of utopia where everything is perfect. All people are very good. So all people respect all cultural norms. So which means the people do not have any problem. Do we have any society where that utopia exists?
No.
You cannot even find a family where there is utopia. Okay? So utopia, we believe from our religious belief that it is paradise. Yes? Utopia. Where there is no problem, everything is perfect, everyone is self-satisfied. Right? This is utopia. Or the opposite of utopia is dystopia, where that one is also, there are close to dystopia cases where economic unrest, political instability is close to dystopia. Okay? But perfect dystopia is, again, is from religious studies, it is hell. Okay? It is hell. Good. Alright. Let's discuss the types of economic models. Alright? First one is socialistic economy. Or in other words, collectivism. Socialistic economy. Whatever produced in the economy. Okay, whatever produced in the economy. And end results, okay, end results are proportionally, equally distributed among all people. It is the theory behind social economy, socialistic economy. In the history, okay, up to that, we were not able to see any country's economy which were, perfectly implementing socialistic economy. Okay? There wasn't. As I already said, because those five fingers are not equal, those, whatever was produced in the economy, it was not proportionally distributed. Okay? We haven't seen any country until today. But if you consider all types of economies, doesn't matter what economy is, there are signs of socialistic economy there. For example, welfare system, healthcare system, education, free education. This is all comes from studies of socialistic economy. Okay? Socialistic economy. So in each country, now we have welfare systems, which we borrow from these studies. Okay? Healthcare and free education. Good. Next one is planned economy. Alright? So all investments and capital goods, okay, they are spent in the economy based on government plans. Government plans. Where the main actor is government, okay, state, and they make plans. As we already did the Soviet Union, okay, it was command economy anyway, we will discuss it in detail. So where government plans, for example, during Soviet Union, it was a plan, what do Uzbek people consume? What are we going to buy? So these things were all planned in advance, okay? Ghost plan, which means they were planning in ahead for 5 years, and that plan was documented, which means that in year 1980, this million pairs of shoes should be produced. And it should be, 10% of it should be directed to Uzbekistan, 5% to Ukraine, 15% to Kazakhstan. It was like this. Alright? What was the purpose? Just following all of the plans. At the end of 5 years, at the end, if plan is done, it means that that plan was perfectly followed. And they will develop another plan for the following 5 years. Okay? 5 years. Good. Capitalistic economy, all means of production, okay, and businesses are owned privately or by private institutions, where the role of government is minimum. It is capitalistic economies. So or in other words, the invisible hand of Adam Smith rules this economy. Okay? Economy rules itself by itself. Good? And the last one is state capitalistic economy, where capitalism is ruled by state. State is the capitalist. All upstream industries in the economy, all the main important industries, they are ruled by the government or state-owned enterprises. All right? Good. Now we will discuss further planned economy and command economy. Mainly, some even economies, okay, they use it interchangeably, but they are not the same. For example, when Vladimir Lenin, after revolution, became the leader of Soviet Union, okay, he implemented planned economy. All right? Vladimir Lenin. Planned economy. So they were planning, and when he implemented that economy, he allowed, okay, the government allowed private ownership too. Of course, those main upstream industries were controlled by the government, but private ownership was also allowed. Which means if you want to start small business, it was not a problem. Okay, it was not a problem. But when Vladimir Lenin was assassinated, and after him, who came into the power? Stalin, right? Stalin became the leader of Soviet Union. When he became the leader, he made everything, he implemented command economy, which means that everything belongs to the government, all means of production. And it was crime for those people who did private entrepreneurship, okay? Private ownership was not allowed at all. At all. So it is the difference. In planned economy, so private ownership is allowed. In command, it is government dictates whatever they want. Okay? Alright. If you consider the cases, Soviet Union, it was planned economy, command economy. Okay? Command economy. Cuba and North Korea, they also type of command economy. Okay? So we know that it doesn't exist in the USSR today, but they are still in process, okay? Good? And what about the advantages and disadvantages of command economy? So let's consider. For example, if you consider the advantages, state, so in planned economy is good because state controls all means of production, which means that land, labor, and capital, which is very important for the nation, okay, it's not going to be, if you consider land, so that the government will do its best to make it, very, very efficiently used. And labor, efficiently. It's according to the theory they want to do. For example, in capitalist economies, most of them, we know that they have environmental problems, right? Very high level of environmental issues, those things, because those land and resources were not adequately used, okay? But in planned economy, they try to minimize those issues, okay? But the healthcare, if you consider the case of USSR, healthcare system was free, very good. And those problems regarding health was also very low. Mortality rate in terms of infants was very low. Life expectancy was also relatively high because life was good. Okay? We will discuss about disadvantages too. Low level of poverty and income inequality. So you can ask your parents who used to live during that time, it was nearly impossible to see a beggar begging money in the streets during Soviet Union. Okay? Regarding inequality, it was impossible to practice those inequalities. Almost. There were people who had millions of rubles during Soviet Union. Millions, it means that today's billionaire. Okay? Very rich person. But they could not show it off. They were not able to buy or build very nice luxurious house or buy a very nice car. Because at that time, if a person, millions of dollars earning, it was impossible during the Soviet Union. That person, if that person earned that millions of dollars, it means that he practiced corruption. He was bribing or he was, ripping those government's money from somewhere else. So immediately, if you buy a new car, if you don't have proof, at that time internal officers, they used to check. Where did he get the money? What is the source? If they ask you, call you, okay, can you give me the proof of your earnings? If you did not have it, you could be in very big trouble. Okay? Which means that even though people, they had money, they were not showing off, as usual. Which means income inequality was not severe. It was very low. Alright? Good. The state ability to build a heavy industry without delay. For example, when Stalin was the leader, and he and his administration, they understood that to grow the economy, to make the economy strong, heavy industrialization should be nicely developed in the country. And what did Stalin do? Forcibly, okay? He just implemented. Now we must, build a lot of heavy industries. And the entire economy they did it, while all light industries, agriculture, they were suffering. People, okay, they were also paying a lot of cost for that one. But Stalin was, because of his, iron fist, he was able to implement. But when Soviet Union, they were heavy industry was properly established, the economy started booming very fast because of heavy industry. Okay? But in other types of economies, it's really difficult to implement. For example, if you're in capitalist economy, if you say that we are going to do it, it depends on the people. Alright? No, it's not for us. We are not going to be willing to contribute that much. But that time they did it. Okay? Good. Regarding disadvantages of planned economy and command economy, the biggest problem was inefficiency. Alright? Because everything was state-owned. Because if it's state-owned, not private ownership, you use it as you want. If it was private, you do your best to get maximum efficiency. So therefore, at that time, what was the center, which part of Soviet Union was the center? Moscow, right? Moscow. And all plans were made in Moscow. They were making plans for all those 15 states, including Uzbekistan. They were deciding how much goods we want to consume during five years. And how much, clothes they should supply. Or how much we should produce. These things were all was decided here. For example, during Soviet Union, there were the practices, very wide practice of shortage and surplus. Within 5 years, to Uzbekistan, for example, there must be produced within the economy 3 million of pairs of shoes for Uzbek people. And it was delivered within 5 years. But whether those people like those shoes or not, it was 10th question, not even second. Okay? So therefore, there were so many shoes that people they did not like at all, and it was just sitting in those stores and stores and stores, dusting. As a result, those surpluses have happened. And lots of other examples. We were not adequately planning certain goods, the supply of certain goods, which people wanted, there was high demand, but it was shortage. In order, for example, TV, if you wanted to buy TVs, electronics, or furniture, you have to stay and wait for months, okay, to those things to be arrive into Uzbekistan. It was like this, so shortage of those goods, okay? Which is why, because adequate planning was not made during that time. Suppression of economic democracy. If private ownership is not allowed, it means that there is no democracy in terms of economy, okay? Create black market activities because there was shortage. And government was strictly controlling and putting barriers. For example, buying or wearing sky blue jeans was a dream for many people. Alright? There were people who were willing to pay their 3-4 months salary in order to buy one sky blue jeans. They were willing, but it was not available, okay? Because there was very high demand. Some people who were able to find a way, they used to smuggle those goods from other countries and they tried to sell it because there was demand, okay? Economic instability. During Soviet Union, the economy was stable, okay? But if you consider other examples like North Korea and Cuba, economic stability you can easily figure out. Soviet Union, it was too strong nation, okay? Too strong nation. So therefore they were able to control it somehow. High levels of corruption practices in planned economy and command economy. Why? Because everything is state-owned. If it's not private-owned, those practices will be anyway. Okay? So people, they were practicing corruption, like bribery and other types of problems. Okay? Good. So Lord, I said now, one of the main the causes of inefficiency, it was due to lack of information. Alright? So there was one Russian economist who was planning everything, who never had a chance to visit Uzbekistan, who doesn't know about our culture. Alright? And about tastes. They don't know. And they were making plans. But in computational economy, okay, they try to minimize that type of problem in those information. What is computational economy? So planned economy, okay, ran by the help of modern technologies, computers. For example, in 1971, Salvador Allende, this person, okay, he became the president of Chile. And he tried to implement planned economy with computational process. Alright? What did he do? He installed telex machines to all companies and organizations, which means that, and the project name was CyberThing. So, in Chile, okay, all companies, those telex machines, they were supplying with data to the central government. How much shoes were sold, and what about the shortage? What about the surplus? So central government, now they have those information in order to do analysis. Alright, now there is less demand for shoes in this part of Chile. It seems that now we have to reduce supply or reduce production. That time. Who knows if during Soviet Union, if we were able to implement computational economic planning, that very strong economy, the strong government could be even stronger, by avoiding inefficiency. But still, even though it was implemented, the fruits of this economy we were not able to see because it had very short life. All right. In 1973. Augusto Pinochet, you know him, okay? He led a coup, and Salvador Allende, he was taken away from his position. After that, once he became the leader of Chile, he implemented free market economy, okay? Which means that in 2 years, those corporations, they were slowly adapting to computational economic process, slowly. If Augusto Pinochet had a time to wait maybe for 5 more years, okay, not to lead that coup, maybe we could see some good things about that economy, okay? Good. So he became the leader, and it was market economy. All right, good. And what about capitalistic economy? It is free market economy, pure free market economy. So which means that the economy is controlled by individuals and institutions. Alright? Everything is privately owned or owned by institutions. Okay, good. What are the key features of capitalism? Open competition. which means that if you want to be active in the economy, you always have competitors, so in order to survive, you do your best. Okay? Economic freedom. Profit motive of producers, which means that Adam Smith's invisible hand. All of us are selfish. Alright? We are all selfish people. I want to start a business because I want to be rich, to improve my life. I don't care about other people. Alright? But because I want to become rich, I am producing certain things, okay, which other people like to consume. I don't care about those people, I'm thinking about myself. Alright? They are benefiting from my selfishness. Because I'm selfish and I want to expand my business to become even more rich, I have to hire more people into my business. I don't care about those people, but what I care about my business. Because I hire them, they improve their lives. Alright? So these relationships, okay, which are not intending, but it is helping the economy, right, to grow. It is called invisible hand. Okay? Therefore it's invisible hand. So even though I'm not intending, but through that invisible hand, I am helping the economy. Okay? So producers' motives of produce, it means that private ownership of property is very important one. Okay? If it's private, we really care. Producers and consumers' sovereignty. Everyone is independent. Because there is high competition, it's up to you to consume what good you want. Okay? So, what about the role of government in pure capitalistic economy? Meaning, they don't intervene into businesses or economies. Okay? What the role of government is just control internal and external security. This is it, according to this theory. Can you give me an example of any country which is following pure capitalist economy?
There's no such thing.
There isn't. Okay? There isn't. If they are, even though they are doing it, but regarding intervention of government is always active. Okay? And in our last week we talked about global financial crisis, yes. And we know about Great Depression, what happened. So the situation in the United States became very bad because Federal Reserve was not doing their best, yes. And government also, fiscal policy was not implemented because it was balanced budget policy, yes. It is some kind of close to capitalistic economy, okay. But still, government, they were willing, but by law it was not allowed. Okay? Good. What about the advantages of capitalist economy? Economic growth. Because there is high competition, people are, they want to produce more in order to satisfy their selfishness. Reduction in cost of production due to efficiency. If you want to be, successful businessman, so you have to find efficient ways of reducing costs. Efficient control of production processes. It's pure, capitalistic. Improved quality of goods. During Soviet Union, for example, they were supplying all of those goods. What was the most important thing during plant? It was number, quantity. You must produce 1,000 pairs of shoes. Whether the quality, it was second question. Okay? But in capitalistic economies, if the quality of the good that you produce low, you will not be able to sell it because there is high competition. Other providers, suppliers. Consumer's choice is given full weight. It's another and variety of goods because of competition. Okay? Disadvantages inequality. Alright? Both income inequality and wealth inequality. From our second week lectures and seminars, we know, right, the severity of wealth inequality in the world and income inequality. mainly in capitalistic nations. Okay. Fluctuation in the level of employment because there is higher likelihood of countries experience economic crisis, financial crisis. If it happens, then unemployment will likely stay stable. Okay? Class conflicts. If income inequality or wealth inequality, there are very few minorities who are very rich and there is very big majority very poor. The conflict between class is highly likely to happen if government does not intervene. Okay? Rules of unfair play, we are saying that it's open competition. From the practice we know, even though there are lots of competitors, all right, there are the cases only one producer because that company has a certain type of capabilities, they win all competitors and they become monopolists. Okay, monopoly. There are that type of cases, even though it's competition, because others are not able to compete with them. If monopolization unfair, competition will start. Okay? Heavy expenses on publicity, it's another thing. In capitalistic nations, if you want to be successful, you have to spend a lot for advertising purpose, right? In order to make your goods known, which means that all of those costs will be added to the final cost of the production. Okay. What about mixed economy? Mixed economy is the combination of capitalism and socialism. Okay? Capitalism and socialism is mixed. Both. So, government, they support private ownership in mixed economy. Okay? Now, United States is mixed economy. Uzbekistan is mixed economy. Canada is mixed economy. Almost all countries are mixed economy today. Most of them. Alright? So, what's the role of government here? They interfere in economic activity in order to achieve social aims. Private businesses, they produce and they pay tax to the government. Government collects all those tax and how do they distribute it? For social purposes. They build roads for us. They provide pension for our elderly people. They provide health care benefits, education. So, government does it. It's mixed economy. And the government intervenes into economy when it is necessary, like in the case of crisis. Okay? Good. And again, in mixed economy, government intervenes, okay, in order not allow monopolization. In capitalistic economy, if you are very strong enough, you can be a monopolist, government does not care. But in mixed economy, government is not going to allow it to happen. Alright? So, what about capitalistic economy and mixed economy? Alright, if you consider, there is high likelihood in capitalist economies to experience economic crisis. And Adam Smith said, that's no problem, though government should not intervene because of that invisible hand, which is, exists, okay? The economy by itself can heal itself. But let's consider a case, let's say you are just walking in a desert area, okay? And suddenly in front of you, 10 lions appear. Very hungry. 10. What will you do at that moment? You do not run away. You just freeze. Right? You don't know what to do. You don't know whether to cry, whether to laugh, whether to run, whether to lie. You don't know. Why you are freeze? Shock. In capitalist economy, it's like this. When certain type of shocks happen, economy does not know what to do. It's shocked like this, as in that case. Do you understand? But in mixed economy, when that shock happens, immediately government tries to make you out. All right? So through monetary policy and fiscal policy, they inject. Okay? Some injection should be made in order to make us again sober and feel good. Do you understand? It's like this. So therefore, indeed, government role should be there too. Okay? Good. What about state capitalism? Which means that state is capitalist. State controls all upstream industries in the economy. Okay? And of course, in state capitalism, private ownership is also allowed. Marxists, Marx, according to their literature, so they define state capitalism as a social system combining capitalism with ownership and control by a state. Who are the main actors in state capitalistic economies? National oil corporations, for example, giants, all right? If you consider today certain largest oil companies, in OPEC countries or Russia, they are state-owned enterprises, upstream industries, and those three, the share of global production for them is 75%, they are producing. And reserves too. While privately owned those multinationals who are producing oil, they are only supplying 10%, while they have only 3% of global reserves. Okay? If you have a chance, you may. It's very interesting. I really recommend you. If you go to that aljazeera.com, and they have documentaries, and they have a documentary called Seven Sisters. Maybe it's 4 or 5 hours long documentary. It's about all those oil corporations. History, okay? Those 7 sisters like Exxon and others. How they did become and how were they controlling. And at the end what happened, for example, Saudi Arabia, they took control of those private ones by themselves because of the importance, okay? It's interesting, you can just watch. Second one, state-owned enterprises, all upstream industry, important ones. Petrochemicals, power generation, mining, iron, steel production, port management and shipping, okay? Weapon production, telecommunication. These are all state-controlled enterprises, okay? In Uzbekistan too, we are not state capitalistic nation. We are using the mixed economy, but still the science of state capitalism is very high in our country too. All of those minings, it's government industries, okay? If we have some kind of weapon industry, it's government. All power generation, it's all government rule, okay? At the same time, for example, you consider our job in Uzbekistan. Is it private or government? Private, right? So, now, in those state capitalistic nations, national champions we call, for example, we may consider ourselves as national champion today in Uzbekistan. Even though it is privately governed, okay? So, if there are certain type of industry, even though they are privately owned, but they have very big importance to the economy. So government tries to support them, okay? Private champions, national champions. Sovereign wealth funds, I will give you some data during the seminar, okay? So state-owned, investment portfolios. So now, those state capitalistic nations, now they have government, for example, the investment portfolios, which they are spending for investment purposes. Billions of dollars huge. If you consider those, top 3 state capitalistic nations, first one is China, because 80% of industries are owned by state. In Russia, 60, 32. In Brazil, 38. All right? In Russia, it was less during the time of Yeltsin. During the time of Brezhnev, it was 100% because it was command economy. Okay? But after Vladimir Putin became the president of Russia, which some of the privatized upstream industry, it was again returned back to the government. Gazprom, all of those oil industries. Okay? Government roles. If you look at this table, okay? We are considering 4 countries, those BRICS countries, right? BRIC. South Africa is missing here. Brazil, Russia, India, and China. So, use of state-owned enterprises. You can see in China it's very high, as 80%. In Russia it's 62, but it's now reducing. While in these 2 countries, medium still. Strategically driven outbound investment strategies. From the workshop material that I gave you, I told you it's written there that BRICS economies are now their sources of investment. From here you can see China and Russia, they are the sources. Okay, they are all investing a lot. And if you look at this one, state influence in pricing of goods and services. Medium. In India, it's very high. Which means the state is controlling the prices. They are trying to flooring and ceiling the prices. Why? Because compared to other countries, India is a bit different, okay? Still, because poverty level is relatively high, it's now reducing, okay? Its government role should be there. Industrial policy that seeks to increase value-added production at home. Medium. In India it's rising, while in China it's very high and rising. Global value chain. Okay? So now they are becoming very strong nation because they are trying to find ways to add value at home and gain bigger and bigger market share. Okay, this is also another data that supports it. Chinese economy, okay, Chinese economy, or market economy with Chinese characteristics. Mao Zedong, I think you know him, right? He was the leader, and he was the leader of China for many years, and he died when he was the leader of China, okay? After him, if I'm not mistaken in pronunciation, is Deng Xiaoping, okay? He became the leader after the Mao Zedong. He implemented new type of economy. It should be socialistic economy, but with science of market economy. Okay? Private ownership should be supported. The type. Or market socialism. Okay? Now if you ask Western countries about Chinese economy, they will tell you it is state capitalism. Okay? Good. Some statistics. Regarding China, whether that state capitalism was successful or not, now today we can see the situation in China, right? For example, in 10 years from 2001 to 2011, in 2001 the GDP, in terms of GDP, Chinese GDP was in the 6th place. In 2011 it was after the United States, 2nd. Annual average growth, it was 10% and over. Within 10 years. There wasn't any country which experienced that much of high growth consecutively. Chinese state-owned enterprises, okay, on average outperform non-state-owned enterprises. Before 2001, non-state-owned enterprises, okay, they were performing better than state-owned. But after, who knows what kind of more efficient ways they found, implemented, they are not performing much better. State-owned enterprises, they are upstream industries like energy, okay? Non-state, it's downstream industries like food production, okay, light industries. Okay? More statistics. For example, state-backed companies in China, okay, account for 80% of total value of their stocks. State-owned. State-backed firms accounted for a third of emerging world's foreign investment. State-owned enterprises. When we discussed about foreign direct investment, we said, when investors, they don't like when there is government intervention, right? But now it tells that those state-owned enterprises in China, they are attracting almost 1/3 of total investment. Why investors are, very willing to invest? Because it's states, which means that state can minimize all the risks. Okay? In China now they are gaining more and more, trust of investors. For example, consider this case. China Mobile, for example, has over 6 million customers. 6 million. In Uzbekistan we have Ucell, right? Perfected Mobile, and some others. If you consider all of them combined, it's maximum 20 million customers, right? If you consider their business, it is considered as one of the most successful businesses that they're doing in Uzbekistan. Because every second, millions of Zooms, or billions of Zooms are going into their account. Every minute. Very huge money flow. Very strong. And now you compare that 20 million with 600 million in China. Okay? You can imagine how strong is China Mobile is. China's, for example, National Petroleum Corporation, in 2011, their profit was $33 billion. The comparison with all 500 the most successful in China, all business, their profits combined, it was less than this, China National Petroleum Corporation. Okay? So huge. State-owned. All right, what about the trends? Again, if you look, state-owned, okay, the growth, the per capita unit, okay, the enterprise's profit, is increasing year by year. Of course, this time it was the time of recession, where when our US, they were experiencing the great recession, China was affected because there was very strong relationship with all other developed countries. All right, what are some contemporary issues of state capitalism? Contemporary issues. We know trade war is happening, right? Western countries, they are blaming, for example, Chinese government.
Heavily subsidized.
Right, heavy subsidies, okay? Where unfair trade is happening, competition.
Patent protection.
Patent protection, okay. And many other examples. For example, another. So state capitalism works well only when directed by a competent state. The way Xi Jinping is running the economy today, compared to all his others, okay, he's doing a very good job. He's doing a very good job. According to the statistics, if you check, okay, every year close to 1 million Chinese are put in jail because of corruption practices. Among those 1 million, there are thousands of politicians, very high rank. They are put behind the bars because they are practicing corruption. Xi Jinping is doing it, okay? And he's getting more and more popular. A good thing, okay? So these are the reading sources. There is no book available, okay, which discusses all of them. If you open this link, okay, 300 pages document, it's about only one type of economy. All right? If you have a chance to read this one, it will be very sufficient for me. And please, I am uploading those videos before you come to seminar. Try to watch it, so it will be easier for you to solve those exercises.